Hey, bub, this is Wolverine. You're watching Pro Teaches Noobs. This is OG Vegeta. Let's get the views to over 9,000! This is Ryuk. Watch, like, and subscribe, or die.
Hey guys, welcome to another listen of Pro Teachers Noob and moment of silence for Jim Shooter. What a shame. Met the man at least twice. Man, such a great guy. He could be, from what I understood, he could be a hard ass, but it was a case where he needed when he needed to be. If it wasn't for him, Marvel and the main comics that we know probably would have fallen apart, because without Marvel, DC wasn't going to pick up the slack. And he, before he got involved, it was run by Wolfman, Len Wein, and all that. And they were just like, books were behind. They were just like, oh yeah, we got all the time in the world just to get by. And when he got involved, he's like, okay, enough of this. We got to get things out timely. We got to have backup books. Things got to be run by through me, etc., etc. Yeah, a lot of people quit because of that and protest. What do you expect? But if it wasn't for him being a driving force, there's a lot that we wouldn't have gotten. A lot. And then Valiant. He eventually gave us Valiant comics. Yeah, he created that. And the Legion of Superheroes. It would not have survived till Paul Levitt to take over without Shooter revolutionizing it. And you know what? He was in the industry at the age of 14.
Yeah, that's one of the most part of his legend that that most people have that I have definitely heard.
14 years old when he started, because he's like, yeah, you guys don't want to write, kids. I can write better than you. But today, in memory of him, we're going to be going over the one book he's probably best known for writing, Secret Wars.
Yeah, Marvel's Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Kinda, sorta, not really. This was more done for a toy tie-in.
Yeah, but we might as well look at it as where DC has Crisis on Infinite Earths, Marvel has Secret Wars.
But the funny thing is, though, this also would prove some of the big differences between Marvel and DC crossovers. Like this one, they just dove right in. DC had over a year of build-up before Crisis happened.
Yeah.
And that's been a big thing. I mean, some Marvel crossovers would have build-up. Yeah, this one, the only build they had was each issue before the book started ended with the hero selected walking over to this, device or this big ring, enter it, and teleport.
Yep, I remember when back in 2021 when I was doing a marathon of going through mostly the Amazing Spider-Man in lead up to No Way Home. I remember reading that. I remember reading that issue. And
then, kind of like one year later at DC, the very next issue was skipped to afterward. Now, of course, it wasn't a year. They weren't gone a year. In universe time, they were probably gone a week or so, or a few days. But they came back with the changes already in place, including the black costume.
Yeah, that's the most that kind of came out of this.
Yep. But yeah, did you know a couple years ago, Shooter sold off his rights to the characters that were created in this? Mostly because he knew Marvel was just going to pester him anyway.
Yeah.
But
hopefully he bargained them at a reasonably proper price.
Hopefully. But yeah, so this was, now technically the first major crossover was actually Contest of Champions, which Marvel did do. But that was still a mini-series. This was the first maxi-series, big-time crossover story. Now, you and I had gone over Crisis originally, so I think when we're done, we should compare it. But the main reason why Jim wrote this because it was tied to a toy line and he knew he'd get royalties from that. That's the main reason why he did it. He's openly admitted it.
Yeah. At least he was still one of those creators who was fans and was passionately actually at least working on it.
Oh yeah, that too.
Instead of being on his high horse like the others.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
In the distant reaches of the universe, far, far from planet Earth, an uninhabitable spiral galaxy turns its everlasting pirouette in magnificent splendor, unseen by living eyes, until suddenly, oh my stars, and this isn't Brooklyn, is it? And how did we get here? I mean, 1 minute we're checking out this giant whatchamacallit in Central Park, then poof, the final frontier. Now, just also to point out, by this point, yes, we have Johnny and Ben and Reed, but Sue was pregnant at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why she's not involved. Yeah, with Franklin.
Oh.
No, wait, no, Valeria. Franklin was, I'm pretty sure. Wait. Yeah, Valeria. Yep. This much I can tell you, Captain Marvel. Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel. This device apparently called subatomic particle dissociation, reducing us as we enter the protomatter, which it stored until it teleported us here to preset coordinates in space, where it reassembled us in a self-generated life support environment. I mean, that's obvious, Richards. By the way, this is when it's the Banner Hulk, not Professor Hulk. This is where Banner's his mind is completely in the Hulk. And this is also Rhodey, Iron Man. Obvious. What he said? And what he say? Just hang out, Iron Man. Read that should be a big telltale sign. It's not Tony.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't understand what Reed said.
Okay. Lugar man it up. Oh,
I like that.
Yeah, I had close the door.
All right. All right. I'm not going to read through everything, but yep, we see all of them showing up saying, I suggest that we first we decide, like, obviously we're going to find out who we are and who's all here. So we have Wasp, She-Hulk, Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel, Captain America, Thor, Hawkeye, Iron Man, Professor X, Storm, Nightcrawler, Rogue, Cyclops, Lockheed, Wolverine, Colossus, Hulk, Spider-Man, Reed, and Thing, and the Human Torch.
Oh, yeah.
And on the bad guy side, we got but we will find out someone else who's on the hero side that's going to cause them to butt head. But first, we have Galactus, Enchantress, Ultron, Absorbing Man, the Wrecking Crew, the Lizard, Molecule Man, Kang, Doctor Doom, and Doc Ock.
Okay, I know most of them.
Yep. But then we have to find out Magneto is on the hero side. So we've got a who's who of bad guys over there, huh? Well then, what's this slimeball Magneto doing here? Besides slinking around the background, that is. Good question. What about it, murderer? I am many things. A mutant, master of magnetism, and an avowed enemy of humankind. But a murderer, a slayer of innocent? Never. I fight in defense of my race. My cause is just, though even the X-Men who, like me, are homo superior, stupidly fail to understand it. I know not what power transported me here. But I gotta like it how in the Beyonder's mind's like, yes, he does sing, but even he can see he's not a bad guy, like evil bad.
Yeah. Bad guy, but not an evil guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like has morals and standards.
An entire galaxy has been destroyed with just a wave. Swept away like dust before some unseen giant hand. What, like Crisis? Ha! And then all these worlds are chunks from different worlds are slammed together as we get War World. Like, I am Ultron. I don't understand the events transpiring. I do not understand how I came to be resurrected. Yeah, he was dead beforehand, nor how I came to be here. Nothing computes. Insignificant. I am Ultron. My purpose is to slay that which lives. You are all living things. Ergo, Ultron must destroy you. Doom grabs the Molecule Man and convinces him. Now, by this point, Molecule Man has just simply had a lot of mental blocks because he's more powerful than he seems. But Doom says basically fling Ultron into Galactus's feet. Because as far as Galactus is concerned, he doesn't know until that. And then what does Ultron is taken off the board fast.
Someone had to be made an example of.
Well, that, and also I think because Shooter knew he was only involved because the toys wanted him, but even Shooter's like, Ultron's not gonna work from a story perspective. So basically he had to be Galactus drains him of his power and he's snuffed out. Because again, let's be honest, Ultron is like a hindrance to all sides.
Well, more or less, yeah, not even more. But
he's never gonna work with anyone, never. But again, it was just Shooter working with what he was assigned.
Okay.
Yeah, but then we get, I am from beyond. Slay your enemies, and all your desires shall be yours. Nothing you dream of is impossible for me to accomplish. Then, well, you, Beyonder, hear me. Hear Galactus. I sense that you are truly a being from beyond this universe, the multiverse. I sense the energies you wield, and I know you can take from Galactus, devourer of worlds, his hunger. You can end his ceaseless, monstrous craving for the very essence of living world. Let it be done. I will not wait. I will not let some petty charade delay my respite. The torment must end now. Of course, Doom, again, now I gotta say, this hands down is one of the biggest important stories for Doom of all characters. Made it a split second before the protective field around the construct self-seal. My own force field will protect me from the void. Flying after him, trying to figure out what's going on, but then Galactus and Doom are both knocked down. So yeah, they both land down. And you know, like not a villain in sight. What are you talking about? There's one right there. The Wasp's right. Maggie sure qualifies. Fools. I was not chosen by and was I not chosen by the Beyonder to be among you? No murderer belongs on our side. Or if you've forgotten about the submarine you sank with all hands on board, they fired upon me. An act of war. Extremism in defense of one's race is no evil. Humans are the oppressor. My kind are the persecuted, the victims. Yet you champion their cause. You bear the shame of their dishonor. Oh boy! Of course, you guys are sticking together, huh? Oh Lord! So even back then, the whole X-Men and Avengers butting heads was always there.
Yeah.
And you notice who's not on the team? Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
His kids.
Yeah, because they were his kids at this point still.
Yep, someone who can talk sense to the Avengers. They're not here.
Missing mediators. Yeah.
So unfortunately, this causes Magneto to split for obvious reasons. But yeah, and at this point, Wasp is the leaders of the Avengers, but she'll defer to Captain America because we're off in a strange land up to our ears in a little secret war that may decide the fate of the universe. Some people don't know me well. They might have doubts, but there's no room for that. What about you, Professor? You can remind. That could come in handy. I'm also good at reading hearts. No man in existence equals your courage, Captain America. Wait a minute. He's the least of us. He can't do anything. I won't follow him. Okay, that I don't care for. Wolverine should. Oh, hold on a second.
You might want to mute yourself. Or to put the phone on mute. Even I put my phone on mute. No, well, maybe it was an important call. Hmm. Hmm.
I'm back.
Okay.
What was that?
This.
Anyway, but
Talk about later.
But yeah, so of course Galactus knocked down. Oh, but he then finds a fortress from one of the worlds that was pulled into this battle world.
And moves in.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, meets up with them all, and he's ready to take charge again, but they don't want to listen to him. But he makes his point to them, but he leaves. And of course, Kang feels like Doom is probably the best. He's the only one I could team up with. Now, by this point, it was believed that Kang was actually Doom's future self by this point.
Yeah.
Oh, but what does Kang do then? Instead, he shoots him down. Shoots Doom down. So they decide to go and find out what happened. They find Doom, and they're offering aid, but of course, Doom does not need help, is basically how he is. And then the others show up to attack, showing that the villains are way more quicker to organize than even the heroes are.
Probably. They are more proactive.
It's also because I think that's the other reason why Magneto was thrown in, was so they can actually cause a tizzy and leave them wide open for the villains to regroup and attack. But yeah, heads up, this is it. Big fight going on. It's a secret war.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, relax, Cap. If their plan is simply to rip into us, they haven't taken the strength of the Hulk into account. On the other hand, duck and cover, Spider-Man. I'm okay, She-Hulk, but the others, Mr. Fantastic has them covered. We then get little flashbacks of what happened the first issue as Doom goes back to Galactus, and Galactus just gets up and is back to being Galactus-y again.
Yeah.
But yeah, Doom makes his way back to the base, finds Ultron, and, well, like I said, Ultron's going to be off the board. He's more going to be a servant for Doom. So in other words, he's not going to be his own character during this.
So basically a Doombot.
Basically, an adamantium one. She-Hulk versus Enchantress. That's one thing I do like about this. We get some fight-ups that we don't normally see.
At this point.
Well, yeah. But yeah, they actually dealt with a lot of the bad guys. So they think they go and find their shelter. Yep. And by this point, Xavier can actually walk on this world. It's one of the miracles of the world, allowing that. So yeah, now they're trying to regroup and figure out what to do and everything. So some people will go ahead, or some of them will go head off and try and regroup. Meanwhile, Magneto has found his own location. But of course, greetings, welcome to the Doom base. And look, it's Dr. Doomwimp. I thought King destroyed you. Looks like he didn't do such a good job. And thanks to Ultron, everyone's not going to mess with him. I mean, yeah, when you have Ultron at your beck and call. The Galactus is just hovering, observing, because of course Doom has the most experience. Although I do like how Doc Ock is probably he's probably the second best, smartest of the villains here. Nowhere near in Doom's league, but still.
Well, they are both doctors.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we see a bit of how Janet is starting to feel like she's, this is all too much for her. We have Magneto sneaking his way over there. We see, hey, looky Stretcho and that skinny X-Men kid. The fact that that was always Cyclops' nickname, Slim.
I think it's an old name that got stuck.
Yep. And by this point, yep.
I haven't gone to the early X-Men to read them myself, but was he like a skinny kid before and then grew up and bulked up to grow out of the name? Yeah, so then it's a name that got stuck.
But yeah, we hear Rita, of course, talking about Sue, and by this point, Cyclops had married Madeline Pryor.
Oh.
So, of course, Ben just feels like, I'm just worried if I'll ever see Alicia again. Oh boy, if you know where this leads to, he stays on Battleworld. While he's gone, Johnny gets together with Alicia. And then it was later revealed to be a Skrull.
Yeah, but he probably didn't know that it was a Skrull, and then
she was,
her, and that makes it a obvious bro code violation.
Well, to be fair, yeah, that's true. And yeah, Ben was not happy when he got back. But yep, they sense that Magneto is there. He was just trying to look in real, like creating a bending catastrophe, a diversion which should bring most of the heroes running here, which will make it a simple goal to accomplish. So yep, they show up, and this is where we get the things first changing back to Ben.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so, we see that Galactus is preparing to do something. Who knows what? But, the crisis with it. Crisis. That was intentional. That had to be intentional. So, we see Magneto's in his own little abode as we find out he had captured Wasp. And it leads to him first, I apologize for the suffering I've caused you. You are obviously a woman of intelligence and understanding, as well as great beauty. And I am not the monster you believe I am, which is precisely what I wish to discuss. Oh, my intelligence, understanding, and beauty, or your non-monsterhood. Why, both.
It feels like he's trying to take one step forward, but then because of his ego, 2 steps back.
Yep, we have this big storm going on. Look at She-Hulk there. I love moments like that. But they have so much going on. But did we get a reminder about Sue being pregnant and everything? But Spidey is just sneaking around just like, I don't blame him. This isn't exactly a day at the beach for any of us. Again, we get all of this dialogue. And because remember this, he went in knowing he had 12 issues. So he has to stretch it. But I think having these moments of introspective works because of the situation they're in.
It's like the momentarily that they are basically still, and when you're still and nothing happens, it's
Yeah, you're gonna start thinking to yourself. Yep. But yeah, but then they decide they must join Magneto because the X-Men still don't seem to understand, or the Avengers don't seem to understand. And the moment Spidey hears that, he then's like, yeah, I heard what you're gonna say, and I didn't like it. I'm gonna rat you out. So yeah, but I think there's still a bit of a misunderstanding to a degree.
Yeah, like he heard something out of context, and
yep. But once he leaves to go tell Reed, Xavier wiped his mind of it.
Huh.
Much like the spies using my psionic ability to forcibly reorder another's mind. Hasn't stopped you before, Chuck! You do it so easily and then say, I feel so guilty. I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah. It's like it's something that use it once. Okay, I'm not gonna do it again. What can I do for it? Hey, I did it one time. If I do it again and then never again, and then something like that.
It's a slippery slope fallacy. Yep. But we also see Magneto talking with Doom. Very well, Magneto, but be warned. If you do not serve me, I must consider you an enemy. I choose to. Oh, yeah, he's not interested, so he's not working with him. Like, so be it. You know that. Saying you're now an enemy to me. So I do like how there's multiple factions, not just one and the other. Oh, and yeah. But down below is where we'll be introduced to two mainstay characters, Volcana and Titania.
Okay.
This is where Titania was introduced, and notice how tiny she was originally. That's something Dan Slott expanded on during his She-Hulk run, and basically had to be she was called Skeeter or Mosquito because she was so small, even as a full adult. She ain't a kid; she's a grown woman, but she basically, because of how premature she was born, she was, very slow in her age, her development. But now it's like, nope, I got all this. And we see Volcania's heat, and then look at Titania, just how strong she is. Oh, and this is where it establishes what eventually these two would eventually get together. And I kind of like that. That's still a relationship that still lasts. Interesting how villains can have actually tight relationships too.
Yeah, most likely.
Yep. And also Volcania and the Molecule Man, because Volcania is not evil per se. In fact, the only reason why she was around is because she was a good friend with Skeeter. And funny enough, though, they show her here is this way. She actually was a bit even, at least during the Dan Slott She-Hulk, showed she was even more dumplier. It was just once she got changed, she became curvier. But yeah, she's still a good soul, and that's why she listens to Molecule Man, who basically feels like, I said, my therapist said I should let things take their natural course. So I won't stop anything. I won't stop the weather unless Doom asks me to. Now he's impressive. So in other words, he's a guy who needs guidance, and he looks at Doom as being that way because he's like, I don't know what to do. Even though he's the strongest one there.
Yeah.
The ability to manipulate molecules. Now Thor goes to Enchantress. Why? They're both as guardians, so he feels like we need to talk because he feels like he can't talk to anyone else.
Yeah, the closest thing to a peer.
Exactly. Even though she's a villain, an enemy of his. I love this. Is my beauty unmarred, Vein One. I love that unmarred Vein One. But then all of a sudden, Molecule Man starts to attack everything as they get ambushed. First, they start to take on She-Hulk. Then we see Spidey and all of them. Again, they're just royally ambushed. Everything is just going badly for them. Oh, this one! Beneath 150 billion tons stands the Hulk, and he's not happy. This would be a big mainstay for Hulk. One of his biggest feats. But oh yeah, so they see Titania needs no weapons. They're all storming in, just doing more attack. But I do like how Volcania keeps on encouraging. She is being the best supporter that Molecule Man has ever had. Like, it was unbelievable how you obliterated an entire structure with just a wave of your hand. And that's what he even calls her if you want, Volcania. His name is Owen. Owen, what a darling name. Yep, but yep, they get out there and then look what Molecule Man does.
Lifts a mountain.
Yep, and oh no. Toon! Meanwhile, we find out that Enchantress was distracting Sor.
Oh my God.
As you know, no, she wasn't intentionally, but the moment they show up, and I love it, like, they show up there and then take them, strikes from behind. Why? Because he doesn't choose her. She basically, in other words, if he had chosen her and everything, she would have fought by him side by side. But because he didn't, she backstabs him. Then we see, oh yeah, this is when Kang gets taken out by Ultron. Yeah, he's actually killed. Don't worry, he gets better.
Okay.
Now we do get a bit about Colossus thinking about Kitty. Shooter never liked that pairing because of the age gap.
Yeah. How large was it?
Let me double check.
Kitty was still legally an adult.
Okay. He was 18, she was 13.
Yeah, I can see where that problem is.
But this is back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I mean, that'd still be bad, of course, but oh yeah, Magneto that makes a comb for her while trying to play up to her vanity. And then the X-Men show up and everybody's saying, it's a force independent of that under Captain America's command. There is much we must do. But then we find out, don't you see, should Doom triumph, he would have the Beyonder fulfill his selfish desires. But we, by the Beyonder's grace, would have a golden age on Earth and throughout the universe, an age of peace which men and mutants live together in peace. We might fight to the death and win. Janet agrees with me. You know, man, you pompous, overbearing jerk. Cute, though. It turns out, yeah, she played him.
We're just waiting for the time, for the right
for
time
him to confess what it is. But it's like, but now you're still. It even says then, cheating compares him to Hitler.
Okay, I have not properly read this myself, but I remember the Linkara review, and even Linkara pointed out that, hey, Holocaust survivor.
Now she doesn't know that probably, but I think she's also misinterpreting things. It's saying, so what? Do you not want mutants to survive just because Magneto's among them to prosper? Or does she truly think you mutants are all alike? You just want to take over.
Oh. Strange irony that the Ultimate Universe turned her into a mutant.
Oh, yep. Ironically. But then there's the Hulk. Now, it turns out the Hulk isn't really holding it. He is bracing it. But yeah, they have to dismantle a lot of the tech, including Spidey's web shooters.
Oh.
And I also love out of the point where Reed completely just insults Hulk and everything. But because he knows it'll make him angrier. So when she eventually like, no, I get it. Where they get their way out of there. They meet up with then Zanshi. Yeah, he's like completely falls for her, although it turned out it's because of her healing causes it. Now, you want to know what was happening around the same time as this book? Well, it was retconned in. You know that Deadpool's technically involved in this? In the Deadpool Secret Wars. He's retconned in, but then it's later revealed. Everything we're seeing here is from him Wasp making the wish that everyone forgot Deadpool was involved.
Huh.
was one of those type of stories.
Okay.
But actually, it was a good way of including him in, actually. It actually wasn't that too big of a crack. It was still honoring what came here.
Oh.
Yep, we see then Ben turns back into the thing again. But then it looks like Galactus is moving, and he's summoning his ship. Oh, look at that. His home. So yeah, you see Johnny is completely falling for this woman, for Zanshi. We get a bit of a summary of everything.
Yeah.
Yep. All the while, Colossus is still worrying about Kitty. A bit obsessively. A bit. I think this is supposed to be Shooter's his take on everything.
Yeah, how he saw it and tries to make it look as bad as it would be seen eventually.
Yep. We then see all the bad guys. They feel I love this. They start taunting Molecule Man and Volcania. And so then we can find out now that he has both a good influence from Doom and positivity from given to him by Volcania, he's no longer a pushover. Look at that's it. Eat some more mud, pile driver. Do you have anything else to say? No, nope. I gotta say, I do like, again, seeing this character growth for Molecule Man. That's one thing I do like about this event. It's not meaningless. That's what I like about this. There's actual character development that will last. It's not, but of course, and Enchantress tries to throw herself to Doom. He refused, so she leaves.
Begone, thought.
Yeah, begone, thought. And Reed tries to then speak to Galactus, but gets knocked aside. They send a mech after them from the villain side. From Galactus' ship. Showing that they're still able to handle it. The bad guys make a move again. I do like how they're still trying to make sure things, they're able to do all this. To keep up the war. Colossus then gets really hurt. And Zashi helps him out. And then it's going to eventually be revealed that Johnny realizes the less he's dealing with her healing touch, the more he's starting to come to his senses. Yep. Then we get, things are just boiling up more and more. Watts was trying to make her way back to everyone as she then meets up with the lizard who had wandered off. Also, we see that Doom brings back Claw. Why? And how? Well, there was a point where Dazzler had absorbed Claw like her. She absorbed sound. And what is Claw? Sound. Then at one point she attacked Galactus and zapped him. Turns out when she did that Claw was sent into, energy was sent into Galactus' ship.
Oh.
Yeah. I like that.
For him. I wonder how long that he was there and if he was conscious for all that time.
Given how crazy Claw is, I probably don't think he even recognized how long.
Okay. One less problem.
Yep, but they want to utilize Claw for something, but sends them back to the others. Wasp is still trying to calm down the lizard. Again, just so much going on here, but I'm going to try to focus on the important stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously. But we also see that because Xavier is able to walk, he's starting to get a bit more feeling like I can be more involved in the front lines now. You know what I mean? It's starting to make him feel more and more like you're the field general. And I'm what? The agent training officer? Fit perhaps to hone your battle skills, but not to lead. In other words, he wants to do more leading now. Nope. And Torch has not fully been, separated. But I do love it out. Look at that look. He's like, oh, bro, you gotta be kidding me. She playing both of us. That's what it looked like. He's like, you gotta be kidding me.
It's weird thinking about.
Yep. Now Spidey, remember, he does not have his webbing anymore at the moment because his web shoes were disassembled.
Yeah, well, jumping, spider strength, and so on. He can still do those.
Yep. And then we see they attack Wasp, and yeah, you killed a friend. Roar! They both get captured and picked up. And then this is where we're going to get another new character. Julia Carpenter, Spider-Woman. This is where she was introduced. And turns out, yeah, her town was plucked out. She was from Denver. Of course, I love it. I was like, maybe I should have gotten it trademarked.
Well, he didn't have to unmask to do that.
Yep, but they toss Wasp to be with her. They heal her, and they heal Wasp, bringing her back nearly from the dead. And first, she thinks that Wasp is dead. They think Wasp is dead, and that there's nothing she could do about it. But yep, things are just boiling over. Volcania goes to Enchantress, basically saying, I need to be there with Molecule Man. And I promise you, I'll do anything. Just send me to him. Fine. And I love it, though, how you can so see that Enchantress is just being a mean drunk.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Enchantress, is that she's basically like, fine, no one's going to want to work with me or say I'm beautiful and be my beloved. Fine, I'm just going to drink. But yep, sent there to get attacked and everything. And, this whole bit, we've never seen, because Wolverine never dealt with Absorbing Man. Actually lost his arm, and he's like, my arm! And then this is where we're going to get something else established. But yeah, we have Doom still trying to sneak around Galactus' home, but gets sent back. And then we have a bit about, like, hey, we have a bargain, everything. And get ready and bargain away while you possess. But this is where we reveal that he can actually put himself back together so long as it doesn't happen. He's still in his transformed state.
Phew.
Yeah. Again, some stuff you never think about.
Trial and error things you can learn, yeah.
Then we get the first time that She-Hulk and Titania fight, which will set up their rivalry. Yep. Doom shows up completely battered. And yeah, basically they're trying to still figure out what to do. We didn't find out that Zanshi, turns out if someone is near dead, it's going to take a lot out of her. And here's the big one.
Yes.
See, look at that. Look at Enchantress as a drunk. She's just like, innkeeper, fetch me another flagon of mead. She is just a nasty drunk.
You're the
But yep, She-Hulk has finally been taken down. But we find out, but again, that it turns out that Dan saw will reveal it felt hollow, that she needed help to take down She-Hulk. And that's why, even though Spidey will go for a while as being the one she'd be terrified of, it'll be a case of the main reason that this is what drives her, that she couldn't stop She-Hulk. She had been kicking butt up until She-Hulk. So yeah, they're coming up there to help get She-Hulk out of there and everything. Enchantress completely seducing Hulk for a moment. But Cap is able to deal with it. Then we see Spidey completely owning and trouncing her. This big fight, everything. And then I love it. Stop bullying him. You're opening his wounds. Wounds? Oh, jeez, I'm sorry. But yeah, Spidey takes her down, and she's completely like, not fair. And this she will be afraid of Spidey until the Cosmic Spider arc when she finally got over it.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, then they find Doom. Now, Doom at first seems like he's given up. It's like, that was my last plague. But yeah, they're starting to use the healing pod. I love it how they're able to stop Claw and Lizard by playing games. Patty cake. But yep, they're able to calm them all. So far, it seems like they've won. We see Colossus is starting to help Zashi reach heal. We find out that Janet is perfectly fine. That's why it drained her so much. Oh, this is where he's like, I'm curious. Were you surprised there was a black man under that metal? No, I never gave it a thought. I knew there was a man under there. Oh, this is where we find out, we see that Thor and Hulk got some new, or at least Thor got some new outfits for him. So Spidey thinks that's the costume. So what he thinks is the costume, because they don't tell him much about it, is that you think and it'll provide it. So he thinks it, boop, and this, and he thinks to himself, oh, I gave myself this logo because it matches Spider-Woman's. Yep. And then they see, what does the work Galactus is ready to do to not what we think. He think he's going to destroy Battle World. He ain't. But yeah, I love it again. Ben reverts back again. It's like, whoopee, I'm the thing again. I'm so happy. I even like you. Yo, but you lummox, put me down. And Spidey, I got my webs back. But we find out that these webs are actually harder to fry than his originals, hinting that they're organic webbing.
Yes, I am fully familiar how that works. I like that. I like how that's a small, subtle thing. Hey.
But, yep, so they're going in. They're trying to stop, Galactus before he does anything. But then, welcome to my home, Reed Richard. I'm honored to be acknowledged by Galactus. How would you like to view your home? And he said, think well on my words. The world ship is the way. Galactus' home itself is the way I seek. At last I see. I must be free at once before your opportunity evades my grasp. He has no use for any of them as he's storming forward. But Zashi once again goes back to Johnny again. But now he hasn't even thought about Kitty at all. Yep. But yeah,
that's a good thing.
Right. But look at this. He is slicing up Claw, who you can't feel anything because he's just solidified sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, they find out that I thought about what Galactus said and still not certain about it. Basically, he wants to use all this energy to take out the Beyonder. But then they say he must not escape. Why? The ship just makes things efficient. Instead, he absorbs his entire home world ship, making it more powerful than ever. But because it's utilizing his ship, what does Doom do? He's ready to use all these lenses from Claw, who was attuned to Galactus' ship, to actually absorb it all into him. And this is where it starts to become the Doom story.
Yeah.
But he absorbs all of it, but then it becomes too much for his mind to handle.
Oh yeah, not enough processing power. Needed more RAM.
Exactly. But now, so now he's ready. He feels he's ready to go take on the Beyonder. And they're heading on out there for that. And he's still, and Claude is still worrying about Zashi. And even pointing like, Zashi has been injured. Like, I got no time for a Chippy now. Chippy! But yeah, Doom goes after him. And then he makes an offer saying, share your energy with me and we can stop it. And I like it. Magneto walks, but then he hesitates. They all stop him, but even Captain America said, we were all tempted. I suspect that Doom was exerting some sort of mental control, and maybe Magneto got the biggest dose. The way I saw it, he stopped himself before you jumped him. But then you have a point then where, Doom went in way overhead. He was not prepared for this. But then, because his armor was in tune to absorb energies, and because the Beyonder was just being so curious, he reached out and actually utilizes it and absorbs it. Beyonder is dead. Now the supreme being in the universe is Doom. And then he basically, sorry, all that power made him bloat or swell. But here now, he's ready. First, and I know you and you these things. The Beyonder no longer exists, and Doom has been reborn. Thus have two evils come to an end. There is no enemy left to fight. The war is over. And then, of course, what's the first thing Doom does once he becomes omnipotent? Heals his face. But yeah, and he's ready to offer them all and just be like, hey, I'm now a god. I don't care about anything. I want to first save my mom and then go back. But then what does he do? He feels, and Molecule Man feels he's been played with, manipulated. And he said, I have control over all molecules except living ones. Indeed, I'm still powerful. Indeed, you are, more than you realize. As he finally releases all those mental blocks, realizing he can manipulate organic material too.
Huh.
But yep, they all deal with the bad guys and everything. And then what does he do? He then get all the people are there, so he's like, fine, I'll take Denver back home. Yep. Now we see that something is going. Hops in the Hulk, then hops into Spider-Woman. Someone is. We then see Cap get up and like, you are summoned to the Tower of Doom at dusk tomorrow. Because basically, and this is where Colossus feels like, I truly love you. And of course, this is what then eventually leads to him and Kitty's falling out.
Yeah. Okay, if that was the main reason, then and Shooter already had had the foreknowledge to see that this is not gonna age well, then he had a good reason to change it. Like, to be like that.
Yep.
Still kind of.
He brings back Gang and then sends them back whence he came. But basically saying now, I am no longer your enemy. I am going to just ascend. I finally have gotten all that I wished. And I love this. It's like, it is also where he finds out about his mother. Oh, we see that whatever's possessing Spider-Woman now takes over Claw. Now we actually have this bit where it's saying like, yeah, he wants to go and stop fight Mephisto, get his mother back. He said, if Doom is claimed he has transcended all human desire, what if he hasn't? We've seen the power. And he said the first thing he did was repair a scar, meaning he is not transcended. And I'm saying, yeah, we know better than anything. We all are in agreement. Even Colossus agrees, and then boom! They're all dead. They're all dead.
Oh, that's some cliffhanger to leave.
Look at that. Look at that with the shield.
Oof.
But then Claw starts to talk through to him. Oh, by the way, this is call it. Enchantress summons a elemental, basically reveals that the Beyonder is not dead. But and it's again summaries of things, and then Volcania is ready. Enchantress is ready to manipulate Volcania. But they stop her, and then Lizard gets sent back to. They both get sent back to Battle World, but Enchantress sends herself back and leaves Lizard behind. But yeah, then with a little bit of knowledge and coaxing from Claw, we start saying, because basically it's the notion that even in his dreams, his thoughts can become reality. So it's saying, what if this happened? What if Zanchi came over to find Colossus? What if because he actually activated his metal right beforehand, it saved him barely from death. So she sacrificed her life to bring him back. And then because of Reed's malleable state, Colossus was able to heal him. And then Reed was able to heal everyone else. Then he is like, you speak, they'll probably come to true. And sure enough, I love it how we don't know, was this true or did Claw's manipulation cause Doom to make it real? But yeah, his powers almost go out of control, but he stops it. Shares a little bit of his powers with Claw, so Claw can try and put up a bit of a fight. Even Ultron, sending Ultron after them. Big fight continues on going, building up more and more. Then he's like, Doom! Captain America, if one among your brood could get this far, it would of course be you. He obliterates Cap, but then Claw keeps bringing him back. Just make him more and more just freaked out on everything until it's finally been revealed that it was the Beyonder within Claw and the others. He then takes it back and acts everything. Doom and Claw go back to where they're from. We find out that Battleworld now has the ability to grant you whatever you desire. Peter finds out, hey, wait, that's not the outfit that I used. Oh, well. Oh, yeah. Of course, we have Xavier being ready to feel like he wants to be more, now that he's no longer confined to the wheelchair, he wants to have more of an active role. Of course, once they get back, I can't walk.
Yeah.
We see that this is the point when Hulk is Banner is starting to lose more and more control, losing control more. We see Cap repairs his shield, but that nearly causes a disaster during Wade's run.
Oi.
They all start transporting themselves back. Of course, Colossus realizing what he did was about how now he's upset about losing her, but also now he's upset with himself about with Kitty. Ben decides he's going to stay on Battleworld for a while. Why? Because he actually can be himself. And thus, She-Hulk takes over being in the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
And that's where it ends. So how was that? I think it's a summer blockbuster.
Yeah. Also kind of... Also of the Beyonders, not very presence.
Yeah.
There is actually not some higher power or opposing force. It's just mostly just throw you could say these were toys.
Yeah.
Or of a toy line. You can say this was like a toys playing with your toys with different conflicts.
Yeah. But overall, it is still a milestone for Marvel still, because look how much came out of this, right?
Black Suit.
Spider-Woman. Yeah, the new characters. She-Hulk on the Fantastic Four. Ben staying behind, breaking up of Gideon Colossus. Doom in one of his biggest victories.
Yeah.
You could definitely tell Shooter understood Doom. You could definitely tell Shooter understood Doom.
Yeah.
Again, so much done. Like I said, that's one thing I like about this. Normally, this would have been something that would have been amounted to nothing. It would have just been 12 issues of fluff, but it wasn't. Now, I gotta say, this or Crisis, I always will prefer Crisis, but I can see why there might be people who might prefer this over Crisis, because Crisis got a little too big. For some.
Yeah. Still kind of bitter about the fact that when they did the whole adaptation, they put too much filler in it.
Oh yeah, but we're not talking about the adaptation. We're just talking about the comics.
Yeah.
But where do you stand? But where do you stand comparing them? Like, which one do you prefer?
If we compare this like to a summer blockbuster or a movie or a story as been told, this is something that I think they probably could have adapted this as a stage play.
Yeah. It's that grounded.
Oh, like Rise of the Infinite Earths, that was a huge spectacle that went so many different places. But since this is in one location, jumping one location and different players in that location, you could adapt this as a stage play.
And it's also easy to see why this can be easily adapted even into the movies. Crisis, you need more setup. You need way more setup. All Secret Wars needs is a bunch of characters. That's all you need.
Joo. Or, nah, yeah. At least set up all the characters instead of just introducing them. Yeah, that's
Yeah, all you need is to set up a bunch of characters, and that's it. But yeah, what did you like best about this? My favorite moment or whatever? For me, Doom.
Oh yeah, Doom was one of the biggest ones. Oh, those moments going up. Black Suit. Well, that Black Suit was not actually kind of a big event. It was mostly a background event that was just setting it up for Spider-Man's own run.
I will say Hulk holding up the mountain has to be one of his biggest feats.
Oh, that is true. So, yeah, Hulk and Doom are maybe the biggest ones who had the greatest moments here.
I mean, Spidey and yeah, the introduction of some of the new characters is also a big one. But yeah.
But it works in also the isolation part where you stuck people in a room and see how they behave. This was kind of like that.
Exactly. But why you went back that, I think, if I remember right, Magneto was originally picked on the villain side. It was Shooter who chose to put him on the hero side.
Because he is one of those not exactly evil ones, has a cause that he believes in, and actually has standards.
Yes. He destroyed the sub, but they attacked first. Did that ignore him and make him not a murderer? No.
Yeah, no. But it's also kind of, it's a fine line of looking at it. There's the way
it's excessive force.
Yeah, excessive force.
But technically not fully murder. Fully.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, had they not attacked him, he would have been no retaliation in that sense.
Oh, Molecule Man also stood out.
Well, yes. That was some character who
clearly
started at a point A and then went through points B and C to point D.
And he became a much more... You could have a doubt Shooter really liked working on him. Because you have a bigger part in Secret Wars too. And then, of course, because of that, the Beyonders would end up having a bigger part in the Hickman Secret Wars. But yeah, but overall, I give it like a strong 7.
Yeah, 7 is a fine, right?
Yeah, I mean 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5. That works. That's great. That's
because
right,
it's a popcorn flick comic.
Yes, but if you adapt it as a stage play, you could get some renownment and some other levels of.
But renown. How could you do Galactus? You'd have to make a giant foot. I'd have to wheel it on stage or whatever.
Yeah. Or
because you need it.
Yeah, wheel it on stage, or like have a light at some other place, or have dark, or make it dark. Have a light, and some people react to what is that, and then bring the light to the.
And then you would see someone high up, like on a ladder or a like one of those railing things. You climb up on, but it's having a blackness, so you can barely make him out. So it can make it clear, like, I am Galactus, even though that's just for the audience to be able to see who's talking.
Yeah.
Or it could be like the giant's wife from Into the Woods.
Yeah, that could work.
Where she was entirely off screen. But yeah, and then when Reed meets up with them, he's shrunk down.
Yeah.
But yeah, because there's a lot of self-containedness here. But I guess I mean, compared to this dude when we went over the Turtles of Greyskull, that was clearly done just for toys.
Yeah.
This one,
and it was also kind of.
This was more of a story influenced by what. Yeah, but here, because it's not a case of them making regular versions of the characters and then turning them into the toy, this is a case where all the toys did was just select who's involved. And Shooter handled it well. Again, the Ultron thing. You can see why the toys picked him, but it's like, bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree? You know what I mean? Because it's truth right
Yeah.
here. Ultron, horrible idea.
Yeah. Okay. Have him in the beginning, and then.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way they can be included, but not kept through the whole thing.
But I do like how it shows that Galactus could snuff out Ultron. Can he do that now, I wonder? Because I don't think they've ever put Galactus against Ultron since.
You would know better. I have not read that many Marvel comics.
I know, I'm just saying, I don't know. But yeah, but overall, rest in peace, Jim Shooter. You were a titan of the industry. If anyone deserves that, alongside Jim Lee, actually Stan Lee and the others, Shooter's name deserves to be. If there was a Mount Rushmore, he would be on it. Take care.